Hi creators, it's Claire from Stringworth and it is part 3 of turning hexagons into a quilted jacket. Now if you've missed part 1, I showed you how to take 2 hexagons and piece them together without papers, without glue, without basting stitches. And then in part 2 I showed you how to make 2 rows into a solid. And I'm going to be making rows and solids for quite a while yet, but in this video I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I have streamlined the process. I am 9 rows in, so I thought I'd come and give you a progress update. Now this is only 5 because when I went to match rows 4 to 5, which is really difficult to show you, I realised I had got row 5 upside down. So I have 3 there in the middle that are exactly the same combination. So I will add a new row 5 to just give them a little bit of separation, and I can always come back and unpick them if that really bothers me. I think I will be okay with that. And for some reason I am working right to left. I'm not quite sure why, but that's how I'm going. So the 5 hexagons, it's around about 11 inches wide. But obviously I have to take the seam allowance off each side, so it's probably 9.5 inches across. I'm absolutely loving how it looks. It is pretty creased, and I haven't yet folded back any of the seams. I will do that when I press it. But I'm loving how it looks. I'm still not really sure how many I'm going to have to make, so I'm just going to keep cutting hexagons and sewing hexagons. I found the quickest way to decide the order is to lay out the last line, the line I'm adding onto, and then grab each of the piles and kind of just slot them in. So, you know, I might put that one here, but I don't necessarily want those two, so I can, you know, kind of go here. Don't necessarily also want that combination, so it really gives me that visual. Like, I'm not too worried about what's happening 3 lines back. That's quite a distance, so I might go more like this one, bit of navy. So you really then can just quickly slot around and kind of go, where do things fit best? And like I said, there's no rhyme or reason to how I'm making these placements. Like, I'm not trying to achieve a particular pattern. It is just random, so grab a few, place them, grab a few more and place those too. And I'm also just paying attention to obviously what I have at either end, so try not to repeat this at the end also, although it won't necessarily become the end because it will be part of the seam. The only one with the direction are the stripes, and I am trying to mix up between the straight stripes and the kind of twisted, and also it twists both ways, as you can see, so that's actually 2 different placements. Bit of navy, I think, in here, and you then start to see the gaps. So when you've filled in a few, it's really easy to pick a colour and switch them around as well. So I actually might go that way with that pattern. Again, I have that combination there, so I do like to put those 2 together. So if I switch This is the fun part, honestly. I'm going to put this one over here just where you can't see it. Finish that row out. What am I going to put at the beginning? I think I'll put a navy at the beginning. This previous row was a little bit navy light, so navy there, and then I'm just looking at these two. So I'm not going to choose the lightest because that is here. I'm quite happy with that placement. I'm not going to choose the teal because that's here. So that leaves me with stripes. So I can, yeah, I'll be happy with that. Not straight down because of that one. And also look at that placement like that. From here I will just take a quick snap so I know particularly which way I've got the stripes going, and then I will just sew again the next row. I've made it to 10 rows tall, and I figured it was time to get a check on how much. So I've got the pattern I'm going to use, the So Simple notch collar jacket. I will obviously take the sleeves off because it's a sleeveless. And I dug out the piece. This is the front bodice. So let's put these together and see how we are progressing. So lengthways, it's a pretty good length. There's a little bit of seam allowance at the top and the bottom, which is good. But I'm probably, only 1/3 of the way through that. I probably need to add probably 4 or 5 extra rows. If I went this way, I could potentially fit 2 with the seam allowance. I probably, again, though, still 3 rows-ish off on that side. So if I came, and I may, depending on the seam allowance, I decided need to add an extra row along here. But good idea of where I'm at and how much I still need to do.